Last March, I took a look at myself in the mirror and decided that it was finally time to finish what I set out to start. But this time with an approach that's bound to work. When I was a freshman in college, I started bodybuilding and I started to gain a lot of weight and ended up gaining up to 220 pounds. But then I was able to cut down to 180 and eventually 170 after 2 separate cuts. And after losing all that weight, I was still upset that I didn't have a six-pack yet. I lost 50 pounds for crying out loud and would have sworn I would have been shredded. After thinking about it, I decided the next best thing for me to do would be to gain back 20 pounds or so and be in a maintenance/bulk phase for the next couple of years with the hopes of gaining back some more muscle, so for the next time I go on a cut, I don't have to get nearly as low in weight. That was my thought process at the time. So that's exactly what I did, where I was able to maintain a weight around 190 and 200 pounds for the past 4 years. And from March last year, I was finally ready to shed that coat of fat that I've been holding on to for years now. But this time with a whole new approach of taking things slow so that I can reduce the amount of muscle mass that I would potentially lose and to keep my calories high. So I started to track my macros again on the daily, and I figured out that my maintenance levels were right around 3,000 calories, where on traditional diets, they typically have you cut anywhere between 25 to 35% of your maintenance level calories. So in that case, I would have had to be consuming around 2,000 calories a day to go on a traditional cut. I said, fuck that, no bueno, I like eating food. The approach of taking it slow only has me reducing my calories by about 10%. So for my case, it took me from 3,000 down to about 2,700, give or take. So the first thing I did is I just reduced my rice intake because I was eating a lot of rice, and that took me down about 200 calories or so. And just like that, I started losing about a half a pound per week. And I continued to keep on losing about a half a pound per week, where I made minor shifts here and there to my diet and increased my step count a little bit here and there, where by the time August rolled around, I was down to 175 pounds, just like that. So after being in such a catabolic state for the past 4 months or so, I decided the next best thing to do here would be to take a mini break, and I gained back about 2 pounds in 4 weeks. And at this time, my macros were hardly reduced, where I think I was consuming around 2,600 calories or so. Not much more reduced from when I started, where I did my best to keep them as high as possible because I admit it, I love eating food. So after my mini break, I only then decreased my calories down to 2,500. Again, it worked just like that, where by the time December rolled around, I was down to 168 pounds, which has been the lowest I've ever weighed in my adult life. It's been back till like 7th grade since I weighed that much, which is crazy to think. But in December, I also graduated, and then I traveled home for the holidays and had a wedding to attend to. So rather than being super strict, I decided that I was going to enjoy the foods and thus go on another mini break, where after a few weeks, I ended up gaining around 5 pounds by the end of it. Shortly after that, it's the end of January now, and I had a surgery booked on the 25th to get my meniscus repaired because I somehow tore it. Don't ask me how I did it. But even after having surgery, I still continued to get to the gym daily and got my diet back on track just below maintenance levels so that I would continue to keep on losing weight. Where on March 5th, exactly 1 year after I started my intentions of losing about a half a pound per week, I ended up weighing in at 166.6 pounds. In total, 23 pounds in a year's time. Now granted, I still don't have a six-pack and my abs aren't fully in yet, but they are more defined and are getting more visible, and I never would have imagined in my adult life that I would be in the 160s again. I haven't weighed that much since I was in 6th, 7th grade, which is crazy to think, but that's just the deck of cards I've been dealt with. And so rather than blaming my genetics, saying that I have stubborn belly fat, and comparing myself to other people, I just look at my progress and what I have accomplished and take it 1 week at a time, where eventually at some point, I will get to a low enough body fat percentage where I will be shredded. And I gotta be honest here, I could have taken a faster approach to losing weight and getting shredded, but that would have required me to go from 3,000 calories down to 2,000 calories. And in a year's time, I would not be able to maintain that. It's just too low of calories for me. Some people, that works, others, doesn't. I love eating a lot of food. So the approach of taking it slow helps to keep your calories high, where what I did over the past year was pretty easy and very manageable to stick to. Where if you're looking to lose weight, taking the approach of going slow is something worth to consider, especially if you want long-term results and don't want to have to be yo-yoing throughout the remainder of your years. When you lose weight too quickly, your muscle mass tends to decline just as well as your metabolism will follow. We're back in 2019 when I went on my second cut. I got down to 1,500 calories by the 4th week, and it was stupid. It was insane. It was never going to be manageable. Where it was a 4-week shred, and I lost 10 pounds in 4 weeks. But guess what? 2 days after the shred, I gained back 8 pounds because I was so hungry. So it defeated the whole purpose of the whole cut. Where on the opposite, taking it slow tends to allow your muscles to stay on your bones and allows for your metabolism to stay high. Where on this cut, I started with a maintenance level of around 3,000 calories, bumped it down to 2,700, and then now, right where I'm at 2,400 calories. So in a year's time, going from 3,000 to 2,400 calories, that's not too bad. Where after I'm finished cutting here, I do plan on going back up on a bulk to get my maintenance calories back up. So yeah, it took a year. Yeah, it was slow, but guess what? My results were everlasting, where I do not go to bed hungry, which in my books, that's a win. Where for the rest of this month of March, I am finally getting back on my feet after having been on crutches for the past month, where I'm kicking it into 3rd gear now. And so I'm challenging myself in dialing in my macros to 2,400 calories a day, plus increasing my step count again, so that by the end of the month, I'm going to get down to 160 pounds and see where I'm at by then. So my journey to getting shredded still continues, but I'm betting on myself that by the end of the month, and by the time I get down to 160, that I will be far better off and a whole lot closer to achieving the 6-pack of my dreams. So if you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button so that you do not miss the journey as I continue. And if you want to see some of the parts of my transformation that I talked about earlier, I made a video all the way up until November of last year of my journey from them. So you can go check that out. It was one of my first YouTube videos. So it's an interesting one where I cannot wait to see what happens with this next month. So I am going to go get to work on that, and I'll see y'all in that next one then. Peace.